Since the onset of the war, the fledgling Russian Air Force had fought a desperate battle in the skies. First, to prevent German bombing runs on infrastructure, railways and supply centers, then to support the tenacious defense of the frontline fortifications against the vast German panzer armies, and finally for control over the burned-out ruins of Brest-Litovsk and Bialystok, as Russian storm battalions fought for every building. Women had answered the call of the motherland, joined the aviation programs, and now provide a third of Russia's fighter wing leaders. But as the autumn offensive of 1942 concluded, with both cities finally taken and winter set in, a change was in the air. No longer would aces spiral down in dogfights to the death. The vast Reichspakt bomber swarms that had blackened the skies over Ukraine were reduced to a few sorties and outdated machines, falling prey to veteran Russian interceptors waiting for them in the clouds. Reports from the British Union confirmed that Germany had lost the war in the air. The battle for Britain was over, and so was the one at the Eastern Front. Guderian still commanded a powerful armored fist, but with the loss of his air cover, those panzers now faced a new foe. Russian ground attack craft equipped with deadly 23mm cannons and wing-mounted rockets, capable of turning whole columns of panzers into smoldering husks. Indeed, the Reichspakt air forces are but a shadow of their former selves. So we've got a few remnants flying over Ukraine in a desperate bid to do some damage, but they are being taken down in extremely large numbers. If we're looking over the past months, we have effectively defeated the German fighter force over Ukraine and the Austrian bomber force at the same time. Nothing anymore over Belarus, nothing anymore over the Baltic states, and even over Poland, there's but a few leftovers that are being taken care of. And southern England, the British have complete air control as well, which means that potentially over Germany and the occupied French territories, well, occupied in the sense that the French Republic has returned, they would potentially have aerial superiority as well. This means a few things. So first of all, we can shift our production. We've got about 400 fighters almost in stockpile. So we can shrink down the production to almost maintenance levels. We've got, let me see, I've organized the air wings a little bit. So we've got the European theater. We've got 22 fighter wings in the European theater. I think that is quite sufficient. So we can reduce we're making it 10 a day. That is a bit more than we actually need. So we can quite reduce the expenses on the fighters and concentrate more on ground attack aircraft. So I might actually take it down to 10 factories. That would probably be 3.5 a day. That should be enough to deal with losses. Let's see, what losses are we currently incurring? We're having a surplus of 10 a day, so we're actually not really incurring much of any losses, to be honest. Let's bring it down. Let's maybe bring it down to 15. So that nicely fills out for now, and we will see. We can further reduce it if necessary. We've got a few planes we can convert. That saves some scarce rubber. And that means we've got 20 factories now in the close air support, which still needs to scale up. So the efficiency of the new planes is nowhere near where it should be, but at least we don't have the efficiency growth debuff here. So that's a good thing. Anyway, so we've got 2 fledgling ground attack wings. Do we have anything? We've got some. I can't use these because they actually have the wrong. They have the wrong equipment on them. So we're going to have to use the more modern ones. But we're starting to have some scout aircraft as well now. So we've got 5 DR2s. I think scout wings were about 10. Let's start creating. 10 was the wing size. Let's begin creating the first scout wing over the Baltics. and we'll get them to start. I do want these to get. Can we not? Well, we can't do pilot exercises on scout wings anymore. Okay, that used to be a thing, I'm pretty sure. But we are going to add these to the Second Air Army. In that case, we're simply going to. Or maybe because it's not deployed yet. Yeah. So I do want. It's not that they're going to fight, but I do want them to become experienced in to reduce the amount of losses that we're having. We don't need to add ISIS here, but they can start some intelligence gathering over enemy skies, and they will probably be redeployed to Madura once they're combat effective to detect what's going on in Ceylon. In other front lines, we do have made some. We do have some exceptional progress here in Sweden, to be honest, and we are effectively clearing the territory now. There are still some fights going on between Norwegian troops and Swedish divisions in the north near Trondheim. But I think Sweden is getting reasonably close to. No, not yet. We've still got a fair few city centers to take. But we are now holding Helsingborg, which means that any offensive from the Germans out of Copenhagen is going to have to break through the defenses there, which is building a bulwark against any incursions from there, and potentially an attempt into liberating Denmark as well. But more importantly, we do have the Kenyan front still. The Kenyan front right now, troops are moving for a potential encirclement here, but we do have to defend against the divisions operating out of Portugal, unfortunately. So we're sending some reinforcements here. And obviously the European front, where we are getting the troops to start organizing the next to start planning the next offensive against Suwałki, Mariupol, into the gap, and to start challenging the German panzer armies. So we will probably see large tank battles. Stefan has an additional trait available, but I think he's actually got 2, so there's not an awful lot that he can take. He does not have. Obviously, he doesn't have the infantry. He might be getting the engineer at some point, which would a fortress buster would be neat if he could get the engineer trait. For now, we could give him guerrilla fighter for the entrenchment speed. That might not be a bad idea because the tanks are going to be sort of at the forefront, so having them entrench faster. I don't usually take this because it's not a massive. If I have something better to pick, but we'll get it. For now, let's see if anybody else has anything. No, I think we're all set. Who do we have actually? Let's have a quick look at our military high command. Haven't checked that in ages. We've got Pepelayev, who is an infantry expert. We've got Drozdowski for reinforcements and coordination, and we've got Stefan himself. So obviously, as he right now he's an armor expert, but as he ranks up, he's at rank 6. I think rank 8 is when he would get the next when he would get the genius. So all of these things actually boost us as well. I can't dismiss Wrangel, but Wrangel is in the. I think he's assigned in the Asian theater. So not sure what he was giving as a. He doesn't even have the military high command role. Okay, so this has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with his actual general skills. So that's all good. All right, so our troops are digging in along the lines. We've got the light tanks in support now as well, and we've got the heavy tanks coming in. We've got 4 more heavy tank divisions coming up, and then we're getting reasonably close to our division limit actually. And that means once the infantry equipment shortage has been dealt with, we do have a decent stockpile of things, and we can probably begin upgrading a few of the troops along the lines here. Like for example, Casagrandi's Second Army, which is quite experienced from all these fights. So I'm going to have a quick look what that would look like, what we would need if we were up to upgrade these 2 modern guards divisions. The infantry equipment, flame tanks shortage, support equipment. No, flame tanks we have only infantry equipment we don't, and we're not actually that short. So I think that's actually most of the equipment, yeah, because the number of infantry divisions hasn't changed. So most of the equipment's actually reasonable. So but that was obviously that was a few divisions. So if we take his whole army, that would be a different story. Yeah, but we're still short on artillery and flame tanks. So we'll start with a few, but I would eventually like to get the whole army eventually upgraded. So we're still a little short, also artillery, and trucks are concerning that we are running short on trucks. Because that has obvious impact on logistics. We're still reasonably close, but how many factories do we have on trucks? Okay, I have only 5. I might have to double that for the time being, just to get a more comfortable buffer here. So I'm gonna double that for now. Then we can actually put that, now that everything else is sort of sorted, we can put these back to where they belong. I do like to organize my things a little bit. There we go. That needs to take precedence over these. Everything else is, I think, in a good shape. We're still upgrading the heavy tanks, but we're actually having a decent. I think we're having a decent amount of. Yeah, we've got 500 heavy tanks in stockpile now, so we can also begin winding this down slightly. So let's bring that down to 25, which fills up the. Actually, let's bring that probably down to 20, and then the because I'm not going to need many more. But what I'm going to need is the mechanized divisions. Why are they not using? Why don't they need rubber? That's different. Was that changed? Usually mechanized takes rubber. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, they should use one rubber. Why do they not use? I mean, it's not that I'm complaining here, but why? Have I done this somehow? And if so, how? What have I done with this? Where's mechanized here? Yeah, it should take one rubber, but for some reason it doesn't seem to be in the resource user. Okay, I'm not complaining. Right. So next step will be to start replacing the infantry and the heavy tanks with mechanized. And to answer one of the questions, I think actually, am I researching this yet? No. To answer one of the questions, the Suvorov series is going to be slightly faster. So the original infantry tanks are meant for breakthroughs, but the upcoming Suvorov series that will replace them is going to be slightly faster. But it's going to take a while until the whole divisions are cleared. So there's definitely more work to be done there. Anyway, slight realignment of factories, and we are still building obviously military factories. I'm going to schedule a few more. Are we on civs? 184. That's a good number. I can work with that. I might actually, yeah, there we've got a few. We've got a few places with good infrastructure. There we go. That'll do. And I might actually start upgrading the infrastructure a bit more around around areas. But the next push will be towards a massive mechanization project. So eventually a lot of the leg infantry will be replaced with mechanized infantry. That is going to be, I think the guards, the goal is going to be that to get the guards divisions mechanized. So that's probably where most of the production is going to go. And but we can trade for. We're trading too much for tungsten at this point. We don't need that anymore. The rubber is obviously going to be the shortfall here. We can trade for a little bit of rubber with India, but not for massive amounts. So this will all depend on the Ceylon situation. All right, for now. Troops are moving in Sweden, and we are going to get ready. Do we have railway guns in the theater? We do. However, I'd probably want that a little bit further south. Do we have something? We've got one covering the north quite well. So we've got one here and one covering this area. So I do want this over in Grodno probably. Let's move that south. We've got more anti-tank forces coming in. These need to take the railways and then disembark, please, if possible. And then we can launch the whole affair. All right, there we go. We have green arrow over Poland, and we've got green arrow over Ukraine, where there's just nothing left, honestly. And here we are just dealing with remnants in the air. So the air war is pretty much won at this point, I would argue. Right, we'll give the tanks a bit of time to move into their positions and to start planning the offensive, because we're still looking at significant enemy forces here. But then we will launch north. We've got, what was it, 19 divisions here defending. So the forests north of Bialystok, where tanks are not particularly effective. However, the flame tanks are. And it looks like Guderian has given up on Memel again and is moving his panzer armies around. We will see where he's going and if we need to counter him. But if I had to guess, he might try Odessa again, or he might try the central areas. But for now, we are reasonably well dug in here. Okay, we've got the 152nd digging in at Helsingborg. And everything else, okay, there is a Swedish division here, but it's not having a particularly good time. So if we can, what's the best way to go about this? We do have to go to Norrköping eventually. So we'll probably divert the divisions north, honestly, and then make our way along the railway lines, while the mountain divisions here are going to take Karlskrona. And then Borgholm, we can deal with that. We would have to navally invade the islands here out, Gotland, so that's not happening for now. And one division should be enough to hold this. We don't have an awful lot. We don't have an awful lot of them. So we do have another mountain division here that we can send towards Norrköping. And from there, it's then just the open road to Stockholm. So unless Germany navally invades, or the Dutch rather, somewhere here, then it's usually not an issue. All right, these divisions obviously are on the defense, but I'm going to give them a bit of time to build up the planning bonus, because otherwise it's going to be really difficult to crash through these massed infantry groups here. So we do need all the firepower we can get. So we can, okay, we've taken Karlskrona. There is the 911th Gebirgsdivision, a mountaineer division. So let's cut these off let's cut off their retreat, since we're here. And we also have a Swedish division here. So we'll probably need to make sure that they're not getting out. And we are going to close the loop and encircle them there. These troops are already moving north. I think there are Norwegian divisions here ongoing as well. So there's general movement that we don't necessarily see. I do have to keep the occasional eye on Kenya, simply because, okay, we're going to start having the first division here. These troops don't move about very much because they're completely out of supply. We might even be able to do this with one division, but I would love to have the other ones there. However, can we redeploy? Can we do this via railway? It's probably not significantly faster, but we have some railways available to us that we can use. But the 143rd Guards is going to be in Tabora, and then we'll push north. We'll have to take 2 positions north of here to encircle and destroy these. We might move further north and see if we can create a bit of a defensive line here, while friendly troops are holding the section. We also have a pot. Nah, this is too far out of supply, so we're not going to be breaking. We're not going to be breaking them here, not easily. Where they have they're having supply from over here, so this would be nice to cut them off, but we have no supply. We could build a supply hub, obviously, but that sounds a little excessive for that. What are we short on? Trade. We're short on rubber. Significantly short on rubber. Why are we so short on rubber? Has the game realized that half trucks cost rubber? It has. Okay, so we're going to have to start. Yeah, we're going to need major amounts of rubber at this point. So we'll start seeing what we can get. We'll get 16 rubber from Siam, and we'll get 8 rubber from India. But that's about what we can get our hands on at this point, which is going to make do with what we've got, but we are going to need Ceylon. So these troops, they are still training, but I'm thinking of, and we have actually captured a German operative. Ella Wolf has been caught attempting to infiltrate our administration and leak secret information back to her superiors. Upon interrogation, she revealed herself to be a foreign asset of Abteilung 3B operating on Russian soil. It is still yet unknown what the exact nature of German interest in our nation is. Well, I have a pretty good idea. Or what sections have already been exposed. With her imprisoned and awaiting further interrogation, we can only hope that eventually she will reveal all there is to know. Okay, we have ways of making her talk, indeed. So the Germans are having operatives here now as well. Okay, I think we can simply... Okay, we're pushing back Swedish divisions here. Why are we... What the... No. What's going on here? Why are these divisions moving off? These are probably they lost their front... Okay, they probably lost their front line. I might not need all of them. Have I already shipped some out? No. Okay, so you are supposed to stay here. Let's get this division to actually... Okay, we're pushing back the Germans anyway, so this is fine. We'll give the mountaineers here a little bit of time. Helsingborg is holding, and in Africa we're still on the move. So let's organize it that way. All right. I am eventually going to start... Do we need aircraft over Sweden? No. Do we need aircraft over Africa? Do we have airports in Africa? We do have, but I think they are too far away to affect anything. We could build some and assist in the air war here potentially, but we have a shortage of ground aircraft, so it's probably not going to make a massive difference. All right, so while the tanks are starting to hopefully to get some plant preparation done, do I have enough command power to get the 6th Army on staff office plan? I do. All right, let's do that. So we'll plan that up a little bit faster. And here we are. We're pushing back the 911th Mountain Division. And we have troops in place. The Norwegians are now moving ahead quite fast as well. Okay, encryption is done, and with that, I think we're done with encryption. I'll do another one on passive defense, but overall, I think we're good. And we have rescued. I can't remember who it was. I think it was either Smirnova or Andreeva. We do have currently 2 operatives in Germany. I might need a few in Austria, so I'm gonna get these deployed to Bucharest and to Vienna itself to start building up some intelligence here. We will be pushing into East Prussia relatively soon. This will help with, it's no point deploying here, but this will help with entrenchment. Where did Guderian go? Let's see if we can find him. No tanks there. There's one. Other than that, no tanks near Odessa, so they're probably still redeploying. So I'm not seeing, there's still nine panzer divisions here. Make that 18. Okay, so the majority of it's still here. So he hasn't really moved around vast amounts. All right, 6th Army is planning, which means we're going to keep an eye on the situation here, where we now have, and now we can start from all directions. We are now pushing back. I might actually have to close that off just in case. Just in case these troops would evacuate north. So we're going to close off this position, and we're fighting some Swedish resistance now on the way towards Norrköping. Okay, now we've got them encircled, so let's clear out these 2 divisions. We're fighting our way through towards Norrköping, and then from there towards Stockholm, and then I think that'll be it for Sweden probably. Memo counterattacks are still running, but scattered and light, as they say. Let's have a quick look at the air situation. We have 7 aircraft. Okay, these they can definitely not exercise. All right. In that case, I think what I'm going to do, if they can't exercise, I'm going to redeploy them to Madura and get them to run air recon over Ceylon. We'll see what the situation is. I don't know if they have an airport over Ceylon. They do. So I might, and there are 25 aircraft there. So I might have to send some fighters over as well. Let's take a fighter wing, and we're gonna have a new theater, because this is gonna get confusing otherwise. So this is the Asian theater, and that means we've got the 3rd Air Army. All right. And we're going to dislocate this one as well. So 1 fighter wing should be enough. We're going to get by Ace Alexeyeva, we're going to get them to Madura as well and do aerial superiority over Ceylon and deal with that situation. Okay, upcoming. Meanwhile, in Sweden, we are making progress. How far is the staff office plan for the 6th Army coming along? Nicely. So this really speeds things up, especially when they're not getting attacked. So we're just going to have to wait. We're running low on supply here for obvious reasons, simply because okay, Bialystok. Yeah, so Bialystok actually needs the railway upgraded. So let's do that since we're at it. Yeah, that's not going to fly. So let's get that upgraded. That has to take priority. The Vilnius-Bialystok railway line to support all these tank divisions here. But once we've got the plan enacted and we're done here, so these divisions can now. I might actually go and simply remove these front lines at this point. These divisions are free roaming at this stage, and they can probably just bypass and move on to Stockholm directly, because there's not much left from the Swedes, to be honest. Well, although there are like 4 divisions here now, but we are pushing them back. Quite effectively. All right, let's organize this properly. So we've still got 3 guards divisions from the 11th. I think one of them or 2 of them moved off when I wasn't looking. So they are going to cover this sector, and you are meant to move front line. And we've got, because I haven't reassigned these to their own armies, so we'll just organize it like this, and the offensive line is similar. So let's do that. and we will indeed instantly move forward. Although these troops can well, let's wait for everyone. There's still troops in Borgholm. See if we can. So they have retreated there. Okay, no, we need to clear these out. Okay, so we'll give everybody some time to organize themselves. We'll clear out the last enemy troops here in Borgholm, and then we can move on. Africa situation, we have divisions in Tabora, so we can begin the assault immediately. And the 143rd is going to lead the charge with the mountaineers in support here, clearing our retreat. We still don't have the additional troops. Where are they? They are, okay, no, they're in the theater already. We've got them coming in. Another ace pilot, can ignore that. And we are, I think we should at this point be fully planned. Yes, we're pretty much fully planned. So we'll just have to wait out this assault, and then we will desperate attacks under von Kluge, who is obviously no longer having aerial superiority. We're fighting over the Polish air zone. The close air support wings here are mostly helping out with dealing damage to Guderian's panzers. I might actually send these a little further. These are still on the move, so I'm going to get these a bit closer, and they are practicing destruction of Guderian's panzers on the ground. And here we can, once these counterattacks have been dealt with by our at this point extremely experienced divisions, we can then launch the overall assault with everything we've got. Right, this has been completed, and I think I did this. This was infantry. Yeah, this wasn't the ideal one that I actually wanted. But I have to do the Tula Arms Factory in order to complete one of the MIOs. I think the one for the rifles. So that's something I need to do. What else can we? I can do consolidation of security services for an additional operative, because honestly, at this point, I think we are reasonably good. I mean, there's still, what do we got? Research bonus. That's MIOs available. This branch is obviously closed off to us. This is another high command people and a new general. Don't really need that. This would be mobilization speed, and yeah, no, we don't need this at all because we have the initiative at this point. This would be some upgrades. Okay, free upgrades that I actually don't need anymore. Special forces attack, special forces cap, but only available. So we've got a few more. What we can do, we can get ourselves a few more dockyards. So I think I'm going to grab an operative. This reduces the right-wing anger as well, which is currently at 2. So we do have a little bit of a debuff from that. That is 0.04 political power. So let's consolidate the security services. Let's get that out of the way. And I did have to take that decision, the Tula Arms Factory. So that means, yeah, the TOS gets okay, that unlocks the trade improved TOS. Does it directly unlock it, or it just makes it, yeah, it unlocks it so I can take it, yeah. So 50 political power is the next target. What are we, how much do we have in terms of research point on this actually? The TOS. We are at 10, but I think there's still one more. I always thought that we have one trade point, but we can't take it. So is this still going further? I think 10 is the end, right? So we can actually start. With the decision and test some field equipment. So let's do that in 10 days. I hope So far, we've already given out 14 medals. I would love if it would tell me where they went, because I have way too many divisions in order to find that out myself. So unless it tells me anywhere where these medals are applied, then yeah, I don't particularly know. They have... No, there's nothing here, because there was that weird X on it, but yeah, no idea. I'll see if I can figure that out somehow. All right, so Swedish front. We are waiting for the troops to make their way here, and we are actually at the edge of supply here. Yeah, the Karlskrona isn't having a particularly large amount of supply, so we probably don't want to dawdle, and that means... Yeah, we'll need to wait for the rest of the divisions to make their way here. But we don't want to dawdle. We want to immediately begin the breakthrough towards Stockholm, because we are going to be running low on supply here. And that is going to be tricky otherwise. Okay. And then once we get the division towards Linköping, then we can renew our push here as well to secure the airbase and everything else. All right, so we should be... Okay, actually Kenya, before we do that. Okay, we're breaking through here without trouble. So once that's done, I'm going to clear out these 4 divisions. And that means let's wait for these assaults here to break, and then we will begin the attack. Okay, the southern one has broken. Where do I want to actually attack? Do I need to push them back here towards Suwałki? I think I'd prefer to just have a breakthrough towards Suwałki and get Mariupol, but I might need the southern flank. So this would be the first assault. Let's see if we can counterattack here, and then I'll see if we can get through that. So I don't know if I can actually... Okay, immediate counterattack here again, but the Mountaineers are leading the charge against von Manstein's defenders. We should have railway guns. Yes, we've got the railway gun here in Grodno that is being pulled to the front line. And once the attack in the north is breaking, then we'll launch the counteroffensive here as well. So this offensive is moving. I don't know if we can support that. We can support that from the south from Bialystok, but Bialystok is under consistent assault here. So we will see if we can manage to break that. We've got some 8th Army Drozdowski divisions. So let's widen the front line a little bit to get a bit more firepower into the field here. And that is not yet broken. Okay, here we are now starting to face increased Swedish resistance near Stockholm. We've got 5 divisions. Let's see if we can break. This is currently unoccupied, but we have nobody in range to deal with it. I think we will see if we can simply break through and take Stockholm rather than try to encircle them. Africa, we are making progress, and we've almost, I think there's nobody defending the rear, so we've almost got them encircled, which gets us back here, where we are seeing if we can free up the heavy tanks. And okay, we've already pushed forward here, so we've pushed them back without trouble. And that means once the attack here has been defeated, we'll have the troops in the southern flanks to assist in the winter attack. Shell dies are complete. I did have one to, and that means I now can go down this particular tree as well. So because these are passive bonuses, so you don't need equipment for that. So let's begin that as well. We don't have the 50 yet, so this is still 7 days away. And here we are still waiting. Light tanks leading the charge for a change, and not just in defense. But now obviously we're running into the counterattacks. That said, I think we've got 400 Indian support planes operating over the area. And we might be able to create a new To create a new air wing. That's the downside of this, of the organization with the air armies. You can't easily, you can't immediately create air wings. But it's actually the second air army that I need. Do we have? We've only got interwar close air. So no, we've got a few. There we go. New air wing. That should have automatically joined this one, but it hasn't anyway. We give him no. We don't have actually an ace for that. All right, because we don't have that many close air support aces yet. So that'll just train. This one. Why do we have only 9 aircraft in this? Is this another problem that it's not? No, this is already the modernized version. This should not be a problem. Oh, I see. Okay. No, that is a problem. Okay, so these are also incompatible because these are older close air support variants which had bomb racks, which means they could do naval missions, which the new which is something the new ones can't. So I'm gonna have to transfer the ace here. That is her, Chkalov, and we're gonna have to disband this air wing because it makes no sense. So we'll disband this one. Okay, now we're talking. Now we've got 2 air wings with the BSH 6s, which means we are. Yeah, we've got close air support. We've got close air support aircraft remnants, but not an awful lot. Talking about which, how are we on infantry equipment? We are clear on infantry equipment. Okay, that's all good. So we can begin. We can soon begin changing the. Which one was I going to do? Not the 16th, the second army under Casagrande. I was going to change these into more modern templates, and we're a bit short on artillery and flame tanks and trucks, obviously, by the looks of it. But we'll change them regardless. They will eventually be reinforced, and I just want to get that. I just want to start getting headway here. All right, this attack still hasn't been defeated, but we should. I mean, the firepower from these dug-in mountaineers should deal with that relatively soon. It's the very thin front line. That's why we needed the southern flank here as well. Then we will move on. Okay, have we broken through here? We have. I do need to leave some troops behind. So let's push on. And I think we are getting close to taking Stockholm. But what we'll do in the meantime here is just to keep the rest of them busy. We'll expand this north slightly to make sure we're holding the other flank. And this is still busy, and here we're still on the move as well. Okay, so we're expanding the flank a little. And we are at the gates of Stockholm, and we're about to take the Swedish capital, which means we are then going to, yep, and we have captured Stockholm. The 64th has taken the city without losses and without enemy resistance. Does that mean Sweden is done? No, the government has seen us coming, and they have retreated. Okay, they've broken through in the north again, towards Trondheim. The government has retreated towards Luleå, but with us now holding Stockholm, I think there's not an awful lot here. There's still some supply hubs in the north, but I think what we'll do is we'll clear out the positions here now of Swedish troops, and we can move north. Okay. Let's see if we can manage to actually. No, this is a lake again, isn't it? Yeah, that is a lake. Very lakey, this place. Then we can. Yeah, we've got a few more Swedish divisions, but then we can shift north, retake the positions here that the Norwegians have lost again, and clear this whole situation up. All right. Have we finally defeated this attack? Can I start using the tanks in offensive ways, rather than being on the defense here? Okay, I'm going to have to time that when they are actually. All right, there we go. Now we don't have the light tanks are currently busy with defense, but we are going to start throwing the heavy tanks in. And I think we can throw some infantry from here as well. Okay. Heavy tanks leading the charge, the 11th, 10th and 8th, with slight fuel shortages and ammunition shortages due to the lack of logistics. But we'll see if we can break the somewhat exhausted enemy troops here. And obviously we should be having... are we still in the Polish air zone? We are still in the Polish air zone. Then we'll move to the Baltic air zone, where we actually are going to have our own close air support wings operational and assisting. I think I'm going to switch both to close air support at this point. So let's get them. They're still untrained, but that is about to change soon. All right, quick look at the Ceylon situation. Have our aircraft arrived? Yes. So we do have aerial superiority over the area. Yes. But so far we don't have any. We don't seem to have much intel of troops on the ground yet. These are getting to the point where they're trained up. I'm not too worried about the 213th, but can we? These are, when are they going to be trained? February next year. So that's still going to take a little bit of time. We might throw them at Colombo, but I would like to have a bit of a better idea to what we are facing. So we will see. We will see if we can get a bit more intelligence and get a bit of a better idea of what's going on there on the ground. All right. In Sweden, I do have to keep a little bit of an eye now on the situation here. See if we can get in behind enemy lines a little. And see if we can get through here as well. Okay. So we're pushing them back, but eventually what we're aiming for is the destruction of the 4 remaining Swedish divisions. Here we have encircled the enemy, so we can now begin cleanup operations. The rest is going to hold. So these 2 guards divisions are going to clean this up. And we are clear on, then we can what we can do is make a break from here. Break through, that's probably a good idea. We'll break through from here. So this, I'm going to give this division already a new order. We are going to, what are we going to do here? Because these are all very exhausted. We're going to break through here, which is going to cut off these 7 divisions, and then destroy them once these lines are cleared. So I'm just holding that for now. But once the lines are cleared, then we'll deal with that. No incursions out of Portuguese territory yet. Where are my reinforcements? Okay, reinforcements are coming in. So we're going to get another 6 divisions to make sure that Dar es Salaam is getting held. But then I think our Africa mission is it's almost complete at that point. Anyway, let's keep an eye on how the tanks are doing. Obviously, no way for these infantry divisions to deal with the tanks. I would have loved. Yeah, terrain isn't helping. I would have loved to get. Okay, we've got some more tanks available that can join from the south. I would have loved to bring them in with full supply, but it is what we use what we can. So we're widening the front lines, and I think Modul's infantry here is not going to be having much effect. We are well within range of the Cass wings. We just don't have enough of them yet. So that's that. All right, Sweden, breakthroughs. I do have to keep a little bit of an eye on this, just to make sure that nothing weird happens. I'm gonna try and see if we can get them surrounded somewhere and cut off. So troops moving through. They're still moving south. Where can we cut them off best? So we've got 6 Swedish divisions here now to deal with. I would love to cut through, but we also have to be careful with supply, because we do have Norrköping in Stockholm, obviously, but not yet connected. I think that's probably going to be Karlstad from that side is probably going to be the best attempt, and we will see if we can deal with it from the other direction. All right, let's make sure that these guys. Actually, we might even not need that. We might not even need that. I'm gonna start pushing them back here just to make sure Stockholm is being held. Okay. And I think we are, yeah, we're about to encircle 2, maybe 3 Swedish divisions here relatively soon. So we are, and the Norwegians are helping out as well. 47, almost 50 for the, and another ace, almost 50 for the decision to be made. How's our battle looking here? Okay, have we actually broken this? We have. The problem is we're now really running at the edge of our supply here, because Bialystok does not have. We might have to actually, unfortunately, wait until the Vilnius-Bialystok line is complete, and just hold positions here, because if we are to push north from here, we are completely out of supply. Yeah, we're at 30% supply status. So this unfortunately needs to wait until construction is complete in winter to improve the supply situation out of Bialystok before we can make further offensives here. But the initiative, now that the air is clear, is very, very clearly on our side. Is there anything left over Ukraine? Marginal. Marginal remnants. And there are a few fighters operating over Germany. And it seems that the British at this point are controlling the Channel, the Low Countries, and obviously their own areas. But yeah, Germany is defeated in the air, and so is Austria. The next potential offensive we can launch is against the oil fields, but I do want to collapse the north first. All right, so Sweden situation. Let's make sure we keep an eye on that. And we do need to, like, we're pushing back the enemy divisions here. And the Greek have declared war on the Ottoman state. Okay, not currently our problem. I was eyeing Greece as a potential southern flank against Austria, but with no troops available to deal with the Ottomans, I could bring the Central Asian troops over, but I don't know for sure that we're not getting. I do want to have some troops in the theater, not just against these, but in case something goes sideways with Japan, that I have rapid reaction troops that I can shift east if I need them to. So I'm not going to completely strip us here. Japan seems to be still reasonably busy here and not having made great progress. The islands campaign seems to have worked reasonably well for Japan, but other than that, not much happening. German East Asia is fighting it out with the Indian Federation, and we still don't have any more intel on troops over Ceylon. Can I send an operative to give me a bit more? Okay, we will send Andreeva to Ceylon to see if she can assist with gathering some intelligence on the ground, because it seems that from the scout wings alone we're not getting an awful lot of intelligence here. Okay, let's finish up the. Let's speed up the Finnish operation. Okay, where did the Norwegians go? I do have to make sure we're not losing Stockholm. But I do have an this is a little risky here at this point because we might get cut off. No, I'm gonna get the 64th to hold position in Stockholm for now. But we have the 164th here as well. Okay, that's a lake actually. That's why. So let's see if we can get these two to cut off the troops near Uppsala. And with that, I think we are in a good position to begin destroying enemy troops here, and that'll be one more here once we've cleared that. And then I think the Swedes are probably reasonably out of divisions. They might have some in the north, but what do we know about? We have so little army intelligence. They might still have a few. They still got like 100,000 men under arms. I wonder where. Maybe they're deployed in foreign theaters. Okay, this is the edge of our supply, unfortunately. So until construction here is complete, and this is annoying. It's because obviously the railway construction is probably held up somewhat from attacks along the lines as well. Anyway, we'll make do with what we've got. We're holding the lines everywhere else, but this winter is going to be a dramatic problem for the Germans. And I do wish to push into Suwałki. So for now, we're just holding. Brazil and Uruguay were annexed. So finally, Argentina has completed their war in South America. We haven't gotten involved in the end, but it's not going to do them much good. We are still aggressive. Oh, that's nice. 7 convoys. We're still sinking vital supplies across the Atlantic with our submarines, and the fact that Argentina is assisting the Reichspakt states economically is not going to make a big difference. Okay, we, I think, are clear in Kenya, which means I can already send the rest of the troops south for the next operation, because I don't need them there, I need them here. But we'll get the mountaineers to lead the charge, because if they can take this position, it needs to go through towards Bismarckburg, but then we should have 6 divisions cut off. So we'll get reinforcements here, and that will do. Okay, Sweden is the critical one right now, to make sure that we're not losing any divisions here to unfortunate encirclements while I'm not paying attention. Okay, 64th is in Stockholm. We're also very much out of supply because nothing here has been connected yet. We're still a few days away from the combat engineers dealing with that situation. But we have encircled another Swedish division here. Unfortunately, the 154th is so exhausted. I think I'm gonna stop that assault. We're going to leave it here. We have cleared out the positions near Norrköping, and that means we can move again. And we have some troops now in Stockholm, so I might actually begin sending the mountaineers east here to clear that out as well, and see if we can break through the enemy lines. And there's more potential here near Karlstad to see if we can overrun some enemy divisions. Still no supply. And here, yes, so this will, I'm not sure, I don't think we can catch these because we might not have enough supply, but we're getting there. Anyway, 50 political power, which means I can take, where was it? The Tula Arms Factory. That is going to take 40 days, but it is going underway. And we have, that's the one that's the one we're using for the dive bombers, for ground support. All right, so what can we get? So let me quickly review how this works. This will be increasing air experience gain. Don't need that. We have more than we need. I'd rather take a 10% ground attack. And this would be fund requirements or production cost. And we can get agility or range. I'm going to go for ground attack for now. So let's get that improved. Why do I have 2 templates for ground attack? That's a transport. That's it's for the scout plane. Yeah, that's why. So the BSH-6, I'll update that. I have automatic version numbering, but it doesn't seem to have done much. Okay, so I'm gonna have to rename that as well. Okay, I'm gonna do it by hand. So we've got the 6A. Otherwise, it gets really confusing later on what's what. And we get that updated. The scout plane doesn't need this upgrade, obviously. And we have this one, which I think we were using for trucks, but are we using it for... Yes, we're using it for mechanized as well now. So mechanized upgrades too are welcomed. This is rocket artillery, which we're not having, so we don't need that. So we're almost through here, actually, with this. So we can get 20% speed, don't really need that, or 20% speed. Right, so we get a 20% speed, but it's either a land doctrine cost, which we don't need, so I'll take the research bonus. And obviously we are, yeah, I don't need to, do I need to upgrade the MIO? We might as well do it now, because later on it's going to be more costly. How much army XP do you have? 47. I might as well, so we upgrade these, that's the A variant. We have reliability is already good. So instead what we can do, throw a bit more armor into it. Okay, that gets reliability back down again. So this would get reliability up to 100%, so we wouldn't lose any of them. Or we could do production cost, but that drops reliability obviously again. So I'm going to start with reliability. Yeah, we'll do it like that, and I will upgrade it again later on when I have a little bit more army XP available. Oh, now we call it AB. No, we're not doing that. Okay, that was weird, but I fixed it. So it should now be called the, yes, it's the B42B, not AB. Trucks don't need that upgrade. They're fast enough as they are. And we do have a few, I think we do have a few things here that we can actually potentially refit. But we're still running the upgrades here. The heavy flame tanks are still running on reinforcements. Other than that, we are starting to, we've got 116 super heavy howitzers in stock at this point. So we can slowly start changing the guards divisions from the support artillery to the super heavy artillery. Let's see, do I have 10? Yes, I do. See how many we would need. 300. We've got 100 available, so we're not doing it yet. But we'll get there eventually. All right, Swedish front, where we are going to have to destroy that division eventually. That should be enough. Okay, yes. All right. We are launching pincer assaults here near Uppsala, and we'll see if we can break through enemy positions. And we are working our way towards Karlstad in order to destroy the last remaining Swedish divisions there as well. And once we're done here, they can move over. Okay, no divisions here. Do have to be careful not to get these moved off. I think we don't need any more here, so we can already give them a front line over there and send more divisions over. So Sweden is rapidly disintegrating, but it's a long way up to the north still. How's our supply situation? Supply is still not done. We're getting there, but it's probably going to take still quite a while, because this was a very poor infrastructure here in Eastern Europe that is in desperate need of modernization. That said, Mariupol is technically I don't think it's a supply hub. I think it's just the capital supply hub. So if we push here, we'd be really out. That said, we would have potentially a few divisions north that we could use as well. I might give it a try, but no, we're still at 34% supply status. That is too low. So we do need to get supply properly sorted. Have we lost a position south of Bialystok and I wasn't paying attention? Or was that always... No, we've always held this. This was always like that. Kenya. Let's have a quick look at Kenya. We have managed to break through the enemy positions here, which means we immediately need to pin these divisions and prevent them from escaping. We're a little bit out of supply here, so I'm gonna shorten the line a bit. Like that. Like that, probably. Okay, so this division can move north, and we actually have some reinforcements now from the 15th that can assist here as well. All right, so once the mountaineers have closed the trap, then we can begin the destruction of these divisions, and that means that we can start launching the assaults here as well. In Sweden, we have bypassed Uppsala. And we are about to close the trap on 2 more Swedish divisions. This is, okay, the divisions in Karlstad are this is potentially more trouble than it's, I'm not sure we can do this with the exhausted 60th, which is very much out of supply. Okay, we'll defend against the attack out of Karlstad, but then we will see if we can, okay. I'm not sure we can overtake them near Gävle, but we will see. Okay, we'll make sure that that we get across the river before we launch attacks. Okay, we haven't quite made it on the race towards Gävle, but this encircled division here is resisting furiously. It's the air situation over Sweden. There's nothing here. It's resisting furiously, and here we are still very short on supply. 10. Okay, we're getting there. So let's return to Kenya. Okay, in Kenya we have we are now facing counterattacks from the Werbezirkskommando, which means we are immediately going to use our freshly arrived troops to deal with the now cut off divisions here. So we have some Indian troops, some Persian troops here, excuse me, that we can use for this as well. I think we've destroyed that position, so that means we can now use the additional forces to attack here as well. All right, so Kenya looking good. Oh, these are also out of supply. Why is this so hard to? Okay, that might get a little better once we have this cleared and we can actually get the trucks through without having to drive around. Still no supply here. How are we holding up? Yeah, this is somewhat severely reducing our firepower, so not necessarily going to make any moves. But we have cut off, fortunately, only 1 Swedish division. Karlstad looks a little harder. And yeah, our troops at this point are getting a little exhausted here, and we are going to need to reorganize. So I'm going to get this division to help out with the Karlstad situation. The 154th needs to regain some organization, and this should be sufficient to deal with that situation here. Okay, so that's under control. How is the Ceylon situation now? Okay, we know that there are some. Okay, we're starting to build up some intelligence. We know that there are some divisions here in Colombo, but we don't know an awful lot yet. So the scout wing is helping. Do we have any more scout planes? Let's see. Yes, we do. So let's create another scout wing. And that needs to go here as well. And that is going to, once it's deployed, it's going to begin air recon here as well. Let's see if we can, we might take some time for reconnaissance to build up here. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Attack here against our positions, that should not be a problem. The 14th should be able to hold this without too much trouble. So I don't believe that that's red. Despite the ferocious assaults. And yeah, Guderian is still running headfirst into Memel, but is unable to break Memel at this point. And we just need to get through the the supply situation near Bialystok to launch the next wave of assaults north. I'm tempted to give it a try. Maybe with the, how bad is that? Actually, I'm going to give it a try with Ungarn Sternberg's, despite the winter supply situation. I'm going to give it a try with Ungarn Sternberg's mountain divisions. He can get. Do I need the Fortress Buster? I'm good on equipment, honestly, so I may as well. I mean, that's not necessarily. I'd prefer the adaptable trait, but he's still quite a ways away. I'm gonna save it up for now. So once that counterattack has been defeated, we're gonna send 4 mountain divisions of Ungarn Sternberg into Suwałki and see if we can break through, because they're still relatively well equipped. Marines research is done. So what can we do next? This is ahead of time. I was going to do the Suvorov series tanks, yes. Oh no, it goes up to 12. Okay. I always thought these only went up to 10, but we're going to use the Putilovets, obviously. And we have this is, I think, for support equipment, the MIO. This is production resource need and production output costs. Can't take that yet. So this is the one we're going to take. We don't need to update the equipment for that because it's an economic one. And we have another tank division. So another one for the 6th Army, the 12th heavy tank, 12th Baltic heavy tank division, by the sound of it. So let's wait for this attack here to be defeated. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to railway deploy towards Vilnius and then take it from there. We'll wait for that attack to be defeated, and then we are going to throw. There we go. Now we're going to throw into. There's a tank division there, but everyone is pretty out of supply. So let's see if we can throw the mountaineers in regardless. With Ungarn Sternberg's mountain divisions obviously sorely lacking breakthrough at this point. Yeah, I think that's not going to work well. We're not going to break that with this low supply. No, that's just a waste of manpower. Okay, despite it being a counterattack, we're not breaking through there. So this has held. Yeah, this has held. Okay, Kenya. We have a few more divisions left here that are encircled, and then we have completed the destruction there. Let's have a quick look at the losses on the enemy side. Yeah, it's quite significant for such a minor theater. They're taking quite a few losses. Obviously, Middle Africa still has a fair amount, but we have more supply positions, which we can exploit potentially. Although I'm not sure we can do large. We can maybe cut off a few more here and there, but it's all losses. It's a secondary theater really at this stage. Okay, let's go back to the Sweden situation and make sure that we are clear. Okay, the Norwegians are helping out as well, clearing this up now, so I can get this division moving north. We no longer need to hold Stockholm, so you can move north as well. And the rest of them is going to clear out. The encircled remnants here, and that means we can actually concentrate on this for now, because we have to wait until the supply situation has been cleared in winter. And we've got another tank division for the 6th Army, and that is going to be sent to Vilnius as well, and then redeploy from there. All right, so for now we're just holding the line here and concentrating. What I could try is to move a few divisions off, like the light tanks. I think they're moving off by themselves actually, as they are, but yeah, I do want to have the light tanks around for the assault, just to be able to exploit it. And what I might do as well is pull the We're pretty understaffed here on this line, actually, so I'm not sure I can pull the 14th Army off. How far are the Marine divisions? They are going to be trained by end of January. So what I might do is bring these north here for an attack onto this flank as well. Okay. Air situation is green. Do we have enough for another? Oh, we're losing a fair amount of aircraft due to lack of experience. I think what I'll do is I'll get these to train up properly in the meantime. We're not at any risk here. So combat losses, training during combat has led to some noticeable losses. So let's not do that. And we are close to cleaning this out here. It's, the Swedish divisions in the north have no longer any supply, so we can make the next push towards Sundsvall, and eventually we'll have to retake the territories near Trondheim. As long as Trondheim itself doesn't fall, but even if it does, it's a way away towards Norway. Okay, positions cleared in Kenya, which means we can redeploy these divisions. Elsewhere. Where do we have an opportunity for some mischief? Where we can potentially cut off and destroy a few more divisions. That would be nice. Well, it would have to be out of Kampala, really, and see if we can march north. So let's see if we can make that happen, and see if we can break through and destroy a few more divisions along the lines here. But other than that, I think mostly we're probably somewhat done here in Africa, unless we want to try and fight our way further south. But the problem obviously is that is one of supply as usual. So we're sort of at the edge of what our supply can maintain. And we can't really launch offensive operations in the north here against these massed formations because we just don't have the supply for it. Do we know a bit more about Ceylon at this point? We're at 4% intel network. I'm gonna give her some time to figure that out. But let's finish the winter in the Swedish theater. We are shortage of what? Rubber, probably. Yes, we do. We can get a bit more rubber from India. Yeah, we can get a little bit more rubber from India, but then we are definitely going to need Ceylon. So that is not optional, and that is the next heavy tank division. So we've got 3 additional heavy tanks, and I think there's a 4th coming in as well. So we've got many heavy tanks rolling in. And we have, we will be launching tank battles into Suwałki. Suwałki itself is open plains, so that should actually be doable. What I could try, unfortunately, these are very, very low on supply. Yeah, we're not breaking. I think even with the heavy tanks, we're not breaking that with the low supply situation that we have got, because we are just. Well, the initial breakthrough is massive, so we can give it a shot, but no, I think we'll see if we can manage to break through Suwałki, but even if we do, no, actually let's stop this. Even if we do, we have no supply to push towards Mariupol, so the supply situation needs to be fixed here before we can make the move north, and we're still engaged. Still a heavy tank division engaged here? No, I told them all to back off, so I'm not sure which one that would be. 6th Army. It's the 10th. 10th. Stop. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we need to clear the supply situation before we can make the break through Suwałki and cut off the divisions here. We are clearing the situation in Sweden. There are still Swedish divisions around, so the Swedish army has been significantly larger than previously estimated. Let's see if we can simply break through and destroy a few more troops here. And we are almost, we're clear here, so these can already move. Because I think we're going to be able to overtake we're going to be able to overrun the exhausted Swedes. Yep, we've overrun the exhausted Swedes. So everybody move north. We're holding Helsingborg. No attempts made there. And supply here. I could push from this direction, but I want to break and encircle them. Do we have supply in the... supply in the north is also going to be close because we're going to have to supply from here. In winter, this is extra difficult, so we'll take it slow and methodical. And I don't want to redeploy for a breakthrough here just yet. All right, last checks for today. Let's see what the situation is here. We still haven't gained an awful lot of insights into the Salem positions. They must be reasonably well. Reasonably well hidden and camouflaged. But our Marines are. I think we can stop the Marine training and begin planning the next naval invasion. We're going to try for Colombo. And I am going to... This is always weird. There we go. 4 divisions on Colombo. I'm not going to land next to Colombo because I'm not sure if I don't know what's in Colombo. But we will give them their orders. They can start planning the invasion, and we will raid. We will organize some more intelligence and see if we can find out how well this place is defended. Okay, troops here have moved onto the front lines. We'll give them some time to organize themselves. Well, let's secure the supply line at least here in Africa, and then we might be able to just bring some of these troops back home because I'm not seeing that we'll be fighting vast battles there. And in Sweden, we'll work our way through the exhausted lines of the Swedish troops, trying to destroy the last remnants of them. And once supply has been secured at Bialystok, which I think... I'm really not certain if we held this position. I think we did it. We might have at some point, but I don't see us being pushed back from here. So, no, I think we're all right. So once supply has been as the supply lines have been constructed, which is going to, which is being slowed. No, it's not being slowed down. What's it telling me? January 1943. I doubt it. We've still could be. So we might be running into January. But the air is clear. The last remnants of enemy aircraft are being successively shot down, and still noticeable losses. So any kind of reinforcements are immediately shot down over Ukraine and everywhere else. And we are building up the close air support. How are we on the production tab there? Okay, we've got all 20 factories on it now. So. With sufficient amounts of rubber available, we'll be building up the ground attack forces without too much trouble. And I think we can still probably increase that by another 5 and reduce the fighters by another 5 because we just don't need that many anymore. We're building up mechanized equipment slowly. And let's just refit what's already there. And we are starting to build up a stockpile of self-propelled anti-air. Self-propelled artillery is still upgrading, but eventually I want to start using these in the regular divisions as well, in the sort of mechanized guards divisions a little bit more when we get to it. All right, it's still slow going, but we have made great progress in Sweden, I believe, despite the fact that the Swedes are still resisting. But the Norwegian Socialist Republic holds Stockholm. We have caused them significant losses in Kenya. Middle Africa has been shrunk, but the assault is going to have to come from the sea. and we are planning a naval invasion once more. Still 28 days to plan that out into Colombo. We don't have enough for a Marines doctrine. Let's see if there's anything essential that we need here. 5 org would be good. This is called HOT. This is naval invasion planning, air superiority, breakthrough to org. I mean, it's all good, but we don't have the Navy XP simply to make that happen. Our ships are going to be launched reasonably soon. And the first of the Ismail refits is going to be in 2 days. We're going to see we see whatever this is. I can't see which ship it is, I think. Oh no, it's the Demokratia. It's going to be released back into the fleet. And it's still going to take until late 1943 for the Sevastopol class to become available, but we are getting there. And that means we will be challenging control of the seas as well from the ever-shrinking Reichspakt. That said, they still have formidable forces available to them, and they are far from defeated at this point.